Welcome back to another episode, and for any new viewers, welcome to the channel. My name's Sam and you join me on board my Nicholson 32 sailing boat Stowaway. I've been in the Baltic Sea for about 4 weeks and now heading back to the UK via the Kiel Kanal. I just had to come alongside this pontoon as my engine was overheating. Things aren't always plain sailing, and I like to keep the channel as real as possible. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for any future content. So in this episode we are leaving Le Beau and the Baltic Sea for the last time, going into the Kiel Kanal via the Holtenu Lock and then along to Brunsbüttel on the other side, before heading into the River Elbe and stopping off in Cuxhaven before heading round to Vlieland, 140 nautical miles across the North Sea back into the Netherlands. So just got my bag of bakery from the harbour master. I'm gonna eat it. Oh. So we've left the marina, Baltic Main Marina, heading towards the Holtenu Lock. This is pretty, as early as I can get through these locks, I think, with the daylight sort of restriction times. Keen to get onto the canal and start making some progress. Apparently there's a ticket machine just after the lock, so I might just pull in there and get that done, and then tonight probably hopefully get as far as Brunsbüttel. But the issue at the minute is my fuel. I've filled up with my big 25-litre tank, and I'm only up to 3/4, so I've got 2 10s and then a 3/4, which is just about a full tank. So I've worked out for 12 hours on this canal I use probably around about 30 to 35 litres. So by the time I finish this, I'm definitely going to need to get some fuel for going over the top of the Frisian Islands. Another Brit coming through with us. That's like the second one I've seen in the Baltic. So I can just see the entrance to the lock. Just got like a red flashing light in a minute. I'm going to see if I can enter this without calling them up, because you're supposed to be able to just follow the light codes and make your way in. Here comes some more. It's going to be a full lock, I think. All just floating around. We've got a green light for the lock, but obviously the big stuff goes in first. So they've just announced on the radio that there's going to be another hour's wait before the lock is available for us. So I'm going to head over to this waiting pontoon just ahead of me. Try and sort my ticket out so I don't have to do it when I get through. There's a little ticket booth up here apparently, and it looks like there's enough space, so especially at the far end. So yeah, we'll stop off here for an hour, and then at least it gives the engine a bit of a break. I had a long way to go. I was hoping to do the Kiel Canal inside one day, a good 60 nautical miles, which meant I really couldn't hang around. I left the marina early in the morning so I could get through the lock at a decent time and just get the miles away. And there were daylight restrictions with actually being on the canal, but yeah, I needed to get to the other end by 9 o'clock in the evening. This hold up was definitely not what I wanted, but things happen and you just have to go with it. So I just heard on the radio there's a lock opening in 10 minutes. So just going to grab a ticket before I move away again. So away from the pontoon again, got my ticket. Thought I'd just sort that out before I go in, but this is going to be a really full lock. Didn't expect them to call like 10 minutes beforehand just as I'd moored up, but here's what it is. So they've told us to move in front of this freighter here, but I think we're going to be rafted alongside each other because space is probably going to be a little bit tight. One of the locks is being worked on, so they have only this one to use for both the large commercial shipping traffic and the recreational shipping. Didn't take very long once everyone was in though to basically close the doors on the Baltic Sea side and then open up the Kiel Kanal end. Because I was rafted on the outside, I was the first to head out, so there wasn't any delay there. So now it was onward to Brunsbüttel, if I could try and make Brunsbüttel at the other end of the Kiel Canal. As mentioned, 60 nautical miles, and I was on the limit. Basically, if I can maintain 5 knots all the way, I could make it before 9 o'clock in the evening. But if I had any more major issues or reasons to stop, then I'm probably not going to make it in time. There's plenty of places to moor up, but they're very specific, so you have to make the decision whether you're going to stop somewhere or not, because the next stop might not be for like a couple of hours. So the weather was looking fantastic following the little armada coming out there. 20 minutes in, however, started having issues with my engine. That was a bit of a scare. Just had to come alongside this pontoon as my engine was overheating. Noticed a lot of smoke coming out of the back, so I checked the gauge. It was well high, like through the roof, and I think we're okay still. And checked the strainer, that was full of crud, but I noticed when I had the valve open there was no water coming in, so it was blocked on the outside of the hull. So I used that bit of wire left over from the inner stay job. So that wire, I used the wire to push out whatever was on the outside and managed to free out a hole big enough to get some water down. But yeah, that was a right pain. I don't know how long that had been there for, but whew, got yelled at by one of the tankers. He sounded his horn because it's a real narrow part of the river for them. Because I wasn't supposed to be there, he just shouted at me and said it was illegal, I shouldn't carry on. So I shouted back at him and said, I've got an engine problem. And that was that. Yeah, about 5 minutes later it's all sorted, I'm away. And yeah, all good now. There was, yeah, quite a lot of steam coming out, so it was hot, like really hot. So I hope the engine is okay and it hasn't suffered too much damage. It sounds a lot better now anyway. So I guess all the weed just kind of like got to a point on the entry hole where it was just completely clogged. And yeah, I mean, it was really difficult, even with that bit of cable, with that bit of rigging, to push it out from the inside through the strainer box. Flip it out. So yeah, recommend as part of your spares kit to carry some cable. Sure if that's military or super yacht. Pretty interesting designs on the top deck. Whoa! Big boat coming under the Rendsburg Bridge. Nautical miles to Brunsbüttel. I think I've got enough fuel. I know I've been in this predicament before where I've got quite a lot of miles to go and I'm a bit wary of my fuel situation, so there will be a stop off in Cuxhaven tomorrow on the way out of the Elbe. So it's not just the engine that's overheating, I'm getting pretty warm too. Put this little tarp over the top just to try and keep some of the sun off. Got my fan on. And some cold orange juice as well. That'll be enough to keep me going for the next 8 hours on this canal. Obviously today it's the hottest part of the day, but what I'm hearing is that the UK's in like 30+ degree weather at the minute, and well, it's not much different here. It's still very, very warm. So put a blanket over the tiller pilot just to keep the direct sunlight off, and got my solar shower there as well, just in case I go into sort of a less accommodable sort of section of the canal for tonight. I could get a bit of a wash. For this time of year, people are allowed to stay on the canal up till 9 o'clock. At my current speed of 5 knots, it means that I'll get to Brunsbüttel at 9 o'clock or just before. So I cannot afford any more delays. I think if there is any more delays, I'll probably have to call in to the Ginslow, I think it's called, lock or inlet. It's the inlet towards the Ida canal, which is another canal which comes off this one and goes through Germany to the north, which is meant to be really, really nice. And you can go up it with the mast up as well, so it's a mast up route. So there's an option there if there are any more delays, but I am very keen to get to Brunsbüttel by tonight. People think coming down the Kiel Kanal in northern Germany into the Baltic Sea might be really, really cold. But honestly, this could be like, I don't know, the Ho Chi Minh River, Vietnam or something. I'm freaking boiling. We've got 10 miles to go to Brunsbüttel. It looks like we're going to do this. I've not worn earplugs or listened to music all day. That's you know, that's my hard work. You know, the engine's done a hell of a job. Well, I know we've still got 2 hours of this, but unbelievable. I've calculated, I think for this transit today, I've used about 30 litres, or will have used 30 litres of diesel, and that is maintaining a constant RPM, 2,500 RPM. So it's like I'm doing about 5.1 knots all the way. Now, if I had a headwind, things would have been much different. I wouldn't have made it today. I would have to stop. The progress today has been very much based on the benign weather conditions that we've had. Tomorrow is different. We have stronger winds coming from the west, and down these sort of longer stretches of the canal. It would hamper progress, definitely. These bridges are pieces of artwork, honestly. Aside of being pieces of engineering, that is as well. It's really awesome. That is a very colourful way to decorate a chimney. So despite everything, the heat of the day, the overheated engine, the hold up at the lock at the beginning, we had made it to Brunsbüttel, had 15 minutes to spare, and definitely the last sailboat. It felt like I was the last sailboat on the canal. So I was making my way over to the marina. I had full expectation it was going to be pretty busy at this time of day, and rafting was going to need to be required, which was the case. I came alongside a big steel Dutch barge. The owners were asleep in the cockpit at the time. I didn't manage to wake them up until I was about a foot away. But yeah, they were fine with that, and they were really, really kind. I had a bit of a chat with them. And yeah, a quick wash, got my head down, and then early away in the morning for the first lockout. The River Elbe runs really strong, the tides are really strong, so I timed it, the lockout with the start of the ebb tide. The intention was to head up to Cuxhaven for a refuel. Unlike at Holtenu, this lock was pretty quiet. It was just me that was struggling to wake up. I kind of ended up sort of coming a bit hard into the pontoon there, but no damage done. And then it was just watching the lock close for the final time. My trip on the Kiel Kanal was over. So that's us just leaving the Kiel Canal back into the North Sea again. The tide is going to be taking us out of this river very shortly at a stupid rate. So yeah, I best get my fenders and lines in and stuff and sort the boat out. Hard work getting out of this river. Even with the tide, I've got wind on the nose. It's only about 13 to 14 knots. But the wind over tide action is a little bit uncomfortable, and it is slowing our progress somewhat. As I was heading further along the river, I was noticing the small eddies from the tide just starting to show its signs. There's a lot of tide at the entrance at Cuxhaven. I was expecting up to about 3 knots by the time I got there. Just waiting for an opportunity to cross over to Cuxhaven, but there's all these huge ships, and the thing is, we've got the tide coming down with us, so I don't want to get too far down from the marina. I'm waiting for an opportune moment to go past, to go across the channel, but it's really hard. Oh man! And I couldn't go across earlier because there was a vessel towing, so coming the opposite direction. Yeah, good much. So eventually the commercial traffic disappeared and I was able to make a start getting across the channel. I'm headed towards Cuxhaven at the minute, which is more to the right side of the screen. However, my heading is more towards the commercial harbour, just because of the sheer amount of tide. So I'm going in there, but I'm pointing that way. The tide strength was pretty hair-raising by this point. I was just noticing the buildings kind of rushing away to the left of me as I was getting closer, and I was hoping that my transit line was going to be good and the tide wasn't going to pick up anymore as we got closer to the shoreline. So the good old Volvo was flat out 3,000 RPM. Well, that's as much as I want to take it up to get across and make this entrance. I could have probably pointed a little bit higher, so it'd end up maybe a little bit higher than the entrance, but yeah, just we were heading into it pretty quick, so, and I was happy with the approach. and then we eventually made it in, which was fantastic. There was no let up with the tide, even when we were literally 20 meters away from the entrance. It was still streaming pretty strong. There's a lovely little open area in Cuxhaven. It doesn't look very big from the outside, but when you actually get in, it's plenty big enough to sort out your sails or your fenders before you actually end up on your pontoon, or looking for a pontoon, that is. So first impressions of Cuxhaven, really nice clean facilities. It's really close to everything as well. Electric check-in, so you get all your toilet, shower codes, check your boat in on this little kiosk thing. Cuxhaven Marina is not that far away from the city as well, within walking distance from pretty much everything, so it's well located. And that's €65 for 2 nights, and you get €10 back when you return your shower card. So I'm in Cuxhaven after coming up from Brunsbüttel yesterday morning. I came in here because I was running low on diesel, and with the headwinds kicking up, I didn't want to try and stretch it all the way to Helgoland, so I've come in here. Went to the fuel pontoon and it was out of order, so I've moored up here for a couple of days. I kind of need the rest, to be honest. It's just been non-stop since Copenhagen, so yeah, it was quite nice to come in here. But this has got lots on offer, everything you kind of need from a cruising perspective. This got a little supermarket literally about 10 minutes walk away, and so I was just stocking up and getting a few bits and pieces. Shower block's really decent as well, so and it's not all that expensive in the grand scheme of things. Get a card for the shower block and all the rest of it. The only thing is, where I'm moored is like kind of exposed part of the entrance of the harbour. So when you get a container ship come past, or pilot vessels or whatever, you tend to get a lot of chop coming in. So I've got like all my spring lines sorted out really well. Stops all the jamming and the yawing from the waves as the bigger ships come past, and cause a bit of wake into the marina.
Captain's lady for to be, brought to be a captain's lady, red, raven, red, that's some of his hat.
So this huge till is defence against North Sea surges. Looks a bit overkill, but there's somewhere on one of these steps actual years where the actual height of the water got up to a certain point, which is pretty horrendous, because it means that all these houses on the right hand side of me would have been, well, completely gone if that wasn't there, if this wasn't here. So yeah, it just gives you some idea of the power of the North Sea in a very severe sea state. So on the top, 1976, 3rd of January, storm flood. 1962, 16th of February. 1976, 21st of January. 2013, and that's 6th of December. So back in the marina, and I had a few errands to sort of run, get some diesel, etc., do some laundry, and wait for this strong northerly to ease up before leaving the next day for Vlieland. It was about 140 nautical miles, and yeah, just needed a bit of a break from the strong northerly wind. to escape the Elbe, the River Elbe more than anything. So this might look a bit more of a long-winded job than just bringing the boat over, which is just over there, but trust me, in this wind, single-handed, that'd be a right mission. And if I'm leaving early in the morning, I do not want to be messing about at all. So I'm going to fill the jerry cans up and take it around and fill it up by hand, I think. So that's the boat refueled with the jerry cans as well. Just a little short of about 120 euros. It's about two euros per litre here, so yeah, all the more reason for trying to sail as often as possible. I don't often fill up in marinas. Just waiting for this weather to blow out for tomorrow's departure. I'll be leaving about 7 o'clock, I think, taking the tide out of the Elbe and then over the top of the Frisian Islands. Blowing a hoolie out there today. I was just watching when the tide was going out earlier on, and it was a real bloody mess. A few boats came in and the skippers looked pretty knackered, to be honest. The pressure cooker on the go, doing a bit of a sort of goulash type meal with some beef and stuff like that, so that should put me in good stead for the next 24 hours. It's going to be about 135 nautical miles to, I think it's probably going to be somewhere like Vlieland, which is one of the Dutch islands in the Frisian group, and maybe on to Harlingen, which I'd really like to go and visit. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, that took quite a bit. Finally got the sail up and it's just stuck away all the fenders and lines. That was quite a bit of effort, to be honest, just inside that small marina. But here we go. 140 miles to Vlieland. So I had a very pleasant stay in Cuxhaven. On the outside it looks very industrial, but once you get in and you start looking around, it's very nice indeed. It's a bit of a tourist hotspot for the Germans that like to go there. There's also the ferry over to Helgoland, operating from the commercial harbour, but the rest of the town is very nice. If you walk around, plenty of shops, plenty of things to see. So yeah, if, not one to be missed if you're coming here. And it's also a really good stopping off point if you're coming in from the North Sea, or you know, you're coming out like I am. Yeah, spot on. Definitely recommended. So I'm supposed to have my motoring cone up because I've got my sail and I'm running with the motor, but I haven't. And that's that. Just a word of caution: if you do get caught in Europe motor sailing without a cone, you are in for quite a big fine. In the next sort of half an hour we should start to see the tide coming with us, so I'll just turn the engine up and let the tide do the thing. We've got a pretty decent wind, although it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be, so I've raised the full main. We're coming out of here at the minute only just touching 4 knots, which is surprising. I thought we'd have the tide with us by now, but obviously it's very quick to turn around. So we're doing 7.5 knots coming out of here right now, which is pretty good because I've got just enough wind angle to do some sailing, but it's fantastic. About to get extremely wavy. Woohoo! Look at them fuckers! How big! Well, we could be in for a swamp in. Woohoo! Fucking hell! So we have now, I think, departed the Elbe after the madness of it. I was going to try and film some of it, but it was very difficult. Had some pretty large waves, tidal induced, I guess, but the wind strength wasn't that particularly strong. So there's not much wind, we're just on the edge really, 10 knots. I've got the tiller pilot working because it's a little light for the wind pilot at the minute, especially with this swell. Still got some swell, quite a lot of swell from yesterday's northerlies, and I think the further north is still blowing pretty strong, up to sort of 30-40 knots. I spy a tall ship. I think that one's going to IJmuiden for Sail Amsterdam. Just passing through this large ship anchor area, and I'm just motoring a little bit, low revs just to get us through. The wind keeps dropping and then coming back and dropping, so but I don't really want to be floating around in this big area. You can't really tell which ones are about to move or not. You just all of a sudden you just see a plume of smoke and yeah, they're on the move. But yeah, okay, there's a lot of sailboats around as well. There's one just Sail Amsterdam is going on, or starting from Wednesday onwards. There's a lot of this traffic is to do with the meeting up at Amsterdam and sort of in Netherlands in general. I mean, just on the horizon alone, I can see I've got 8 boats that I can see, and on AIS there just seems to be this massive swarm. Sail Amsterdam is a once in a 5-year event, so it kind of makes sense that there's a bit of effort going on to get over to the Netherlands, and yeah, spend sort of like the middle part of the week and into the weekend there. So if the weather looks good for getting back through to the weekend, I will be staying in either IJmuiden or trying to find somewhere in Amsterdam to yeah, a bit of a see what's going on at Sail Amsterdam. That'd be quite cool. Oh my god. So, gonna launch my drone, see how we get on. There's quite a bit of swell, so recovering this is going to be pretty difficult. Okay, so I'll find where the wind's coming from, and yeah, just launch it from there. So the recovery point is going to be sort of from here, which is quite tricky. Yeah, let's see how we get on. This is probably gonna fail real bad, like, but. I suppose that's one way of using a stack pack, isn't it? Just fly the drone into the motor and let it flop down into the stack pack. That's brilliant. No blades damaged either. That's good. I would have really struggled to capture that. Cool. Let up, this swell has been throwing the boat around and it's been so uncomfortable. No wind at all to help with the stability of the boat. It's just kind of falling off the back end of the wave. So hence the reason for kipping on the floor. So we are kind of plugging the tide now. It's a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. This is to Shelling. This is the west side to Shelling. You've got a gap here. There's loads of shallows around here, and then you've got Vlieland over here. And I'm really trying hard to make it in before the tide starts coming out again at like 5 o'clock. Well, I've got to go round and then in and then up the channel. And that's another, well, it's another 15 nautical miles. So, and we won't have the tide with us until I get around the turning point. It's a little bit of a way ahead yet. That poor old engine, to tell you what, that has done bloody really well. For the age that it is, it's touch wood. It's not missed a beat yet. Ships around. It's like one over there, one there, and then there's one behind us. And I've seen a few more like going past on the way. I guess it's to Imuden because it'll be the easiest way for them to get into Amsterdam. I think once they're through the lock there, they just basically go all the way up to the capital. But yeah, I've seen like loads and loads of tall ships and that. It's like kind of being back in time, you know. Pretty cool. Just have to give way to this fishing vessel. It's got all his gear out. Going into the channel, I've kind of cut out quite a bit of the supposed routing, but yeah, there's the channel just there. And Vlieland's just round. Well, Vlieland's ahead of us. And the marina is on the harbour is on the other side of the island. He was miles behind me and he sped up just so he could be in front of me, and that is the Germans all over. Sorry guys, but they are a funny bunch of people. They make me laugh. We're just making the top of the tide here at Vlieland. Really have pushed it as much as I can, and we've just about made it. The alternative was Den Helder on the next tide maybe, but yeah, it was going to be another like 25 miles around the coast, so didn't really fancy that. Vlieland Harbour, this is sailing vessel Stowaway, over.
Harbour here. Come in.
Yes, hello sir. Like a visitor's stay for 10 metre boat, over.
Yeah, 10 metre boat, you can go between E and F on F. Echo Foxtrot on Foxtrot.
So, having left Cuxhaven, I'd had about half an hour's sleep. With all the pitching and rolling, my sleep deprivation levels were pretty high, and these reasonably clear instructions from the Vlieland Harbour Master were not really making too much sense to me, so yeah, just had to call back and get some clarification from him. Yeah, so Echo or Foxtrot, over.
Coming to the harbour, to the back, and then between E, Echo and F, Foxtrot, you can look for a place on Foxtrot.
All copy sir, look for a place on Foxtrot, many thanks. E and F, right to the back. E and F. Well, this is going to be entertaining. So it's high tide on the approach to the marina. It's quite a narrow entrance this, but once you're inside it's really cosy, plenty of space normally, but it was quite a busy, it's quite busy when I arrived. I think it's like the time of year and the fact that Sail Amsterdam was on as well. So out on the bike again, and a lovely day. I'm going to spend a day looking around, check out Vlieland. Vlieland is one of the West Frisian Islands. It's got a population of about 1,100 residents. The area is approximately 36 square kilometres, and it's totally car free, which means visitors can't bring any cars except with special permission, so bikes are the main way to get around. I never do too much planning when I end up in a place like Vlieland. Just kind of get the bike out or set out on foot and like have a look around. This is Oost Vlieland, I think. little village on the east side, and quite close to the marina and the main commercial sort of harbour, if you like, where the main ferry terminal comes in. So I found myself heading towards the north. I was actually looking for a lighthouse, but ended up finding this big kind of German bunker complex. Like the rest of the Netherlands, Vlieland was occupied by Nazi Germany from 1940 to 1945. Because of the strategic location in the North Sea and the Wadden area, the island became part of the Atlantic Wall and the German coastal defence system. Vlieland saw extensive fortification, which included concrete bunkers and observation posts, anti-aircraft positions, coastal artillery and radar installations. Quite a lot of these structures are still visible today at sites just like this. The airspace over the Wadden Islands was active with both Allied and German aircraft. Several Allied planes crashed near or on Vlieland. Remnants and graves can still be found in the area. The beaches of Vlieland sometimes saw mine incidents and washed up war debris. I always find a seagull engine somewhere. There must be thousands of these in the North Sea. Discovered some of the pieces of the aircraft that they shot down. British, American, I guess. In May 1945, German forces surrendered as part of the general surrender of German forces within the Netherlands. Liberation was therefore peaceful, with Canadian troops taking control after the surrender. Wow, what a view. Well, that was pretty cool, and yeah, definitely worth a visit. Now, going to carry along this track and see how much of Vlieland I can get round. Probably to the west now, I think. Couple of goats roaming around. Just pulled over for a bit. This side of the island, all nature reserve. And obviously it shallows, the creek here shallows right out. This is from the entrance on the approach to the harbour and the marina. And over here in the distance is Cuxhaven. I'm not sure what this fishing boat is doing. It looks like it's run aground. So after a good few hours biking around Vlieland, I was back at the marina again. A really nice visit here. I was really glad that I came by and stopped off for a bit and to explore. Being half Dutch myself, it was actually quite nice to actually finally see this part of the Netherlands, and yeah, a great time of year to do it as well, with plenty of boats there and people to talk to as well from actually quite a number of different countries. I'll see you again in the next episode where I head into the IJsselmeer.